Hello, and welcome to our discussion of Mesopotamia. Um, Mesopotamia existed around 3000 BCE and was home to many different civilizations. You can see them listed here. I want you to note that they're in between the Tigris and the Euphrates River. Those are going to be our important rivers for this group of civilizations. They spanned the land between the Tigris and Euphrates, and they were west of the Mediterranean Sea. This area was also known as the Fertile Crescent. You can see this green area of fertile land. It's kind of in a crescent shape. That's why it's known as the Fertile Crescent. On your map, in your notes, I want you to make sure you label the Black Sea, the Mediterranean Sea, Egypt, the Nile River, the Syrian desert, the Euphrates River, the Tigris River, the Zargas Mountains, the Caspian Sea, and the Persian Gulf. I want you to notice that this is a river valley civilization. When we talked about river valley civilizations, we talked about how they were often protected from invasion, and so they were a good place to settle. So, to the north and east, you see the Zargas Mountains. That offers protection. People would have to bring an army through mountains to invade. On the other, to the south, we have the Syrian desert. So bringing an army through the desert, also very difficult. So this Mesopotamian civilization is very well protected. One of the first civilizations to emerge is Sumer. And Sumer on this map is in this pink, and you can see the cities within the Sumer. It did not take up the whole Fertile Crescent, and there were other cities that were becoming larger as Sumer develops and is this group of many cities. So we're going to go through the Sumerians and we're going to look at our classification system we learned to determine what makes a civilization. So, first one, trade and a large population. Here on this map, you can see the trade system that the Sumerians used. So Sumerians have trade. A surplus of food. So Sumerians have that. They have an end to subsistence farming. Specialization. The workers specialized in crafts. Farmers grew more than they needed. They had that surplus. They were able to trade the rest. And then others were able to focus on developing those trades, woodworking, metalworking, creating boats, building houses. System of writing is another criteria for civilization, and Sumerians had that. They had a system of writing. It was used primarily for record keeping. It was called cuneiform, and it has these wedge-shaped figures and symbols that denote words. And the tablets were made of hardened clay. Now, I said they're most often used for record keeping, but we did find, archaeologists found, a piece of literature or a story called the Epic of Gilgamesh, which is written in 2700 BCE. And this is one of the oldest stories we have that has survived written down. It's the story of a king named Gilgamesh who interacts with his gods and his people. Advanced technology, another criteria for civilization that allow them to survive in their environment. Sumerians invented the wheel, plow, and sailboat. The sailboat really helped them trade. They used bronze for weapons and tools, and we have still have entered into the Bronze Age. They had a functioning government. In Sumer, the government was a monarchy, and it was kind of established by strong warriors. Modifying your environment, also an indication of a civilization. So Sumerians did this so that they were able to survive in the Fertile Crescent. They built irrigation ditches that controlled flooding and got enough water to their crops. They also built city walls to prevent raids from other cities in the area. They also had an extensive trade network so that they were able to get stone and wood and other things that they might need. Religion, another part of being a civilization. Mesopotamians practiced polytheism, or a belief in many gods. They worshipped in a temple called a ziggurat that looks a lot like a pyramid. Sumerian cities were Ur, Uruk, and Akkad were toppled by the Akkadians, led by King Sargon, who united the people of Mesopotamia, creating an empire. An empire is a large territory under a single ruler, and this is one of the first examples we have of an empire. Moving on to Babylon. So the Amorites established Babylon as their capital city around 2000 BCE. Hammurabi was their most powerful, influential king. Babylonian society was very complex, so a legal system called Hammurabi's Code was created to settle every dispute. It had 282 specific laws. It established that people would be held responsible for their actions, and it established that the government had a responsibility for what happened in society. Hammurabi's Code is important because it is one of the first examples we have where laws were written down. If a law is written down, you cannot change it, and that is very important. So, we've come to the end of our little discussion for today. Tomorrow in class, we're going to look more in depth at the geography of ancient Mesopotamia and how the people who lived there adapted to the environment. We're also going to take a bigger look at Hammurabi's Code and look at some of the actual laws. And you'll be able to decide if you think they were fair and just or they might have been a little harsh. I'm going to leave you with this poem that should help you review and reinforce some things, especially the rivers.